Okay, great. We're going to go ahead and get started here. And thank you all for logging on to go over American Amicable's final expense product and also how to write their e-app. Since I'm recording this, we have everybody muted. So if you have any questions, please type them into the chat box and I'll get to those at the end. So I'm going to go over here the final expense product for American Amicable and how to write their e-app. And let's see here. You'll see down here the website information. This is our site for agents to go on to, and not only will this training video be on there, but there's product guides. There are more training guides in there in PDF format. There are other videos on there for training. There's phone scripts for the final expense live transfers. Just a whole bunch of things that you'll need for training and to just brush up on some sales and to get you guys up and going. So be sure to write that down. It's finalexpense.business. And the password to get into the agent side is live transfers 01. And that's where you'll find all the videos and documents and everything for the training. So in the past, American Amicable, their final expense, it's their whole life product. They have two separate pieces of it. One is for younger ages, you can see 0 through 49, and one is for older ages. I say older ages, I'm in that category, just older than the family choice plan, but it's the senior choice. And that's the one that we'll be using for the final expense plans. Now, they were called something else previously. Actually, the way American Amicable has it set up is these products are more for call centers and telesales. It's funny because the products are just about exactly the same, but the names are different. And I think just in their system, they set them up different. So these are the products that you'll be using. And again, you won't be using family choice hardly at all. It'll mostly be the senior choice for these final expense transfers. Okay, so here's a little bit about the product. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get rid of that one. That's for the young, the 0 to 49. So just not to confuse anybody, we're going to cover that up right now. And you can see it's a simplified issue whole life plan. Premiums are guaranteed. There's 2 death benefit options for 0 to 49, but the one that we're concentrating on, let me see here, is the 3 death benefit option. And here they are right here. You'll see they don't have a guarantee issue plan, but they have 3 levels of their final expense product. If the client is in good health, they get the immediate death benefit, 100% from day 1. You can see over here the issue ages and the maximum amounts that can be written. Okay. The second option is the graded benefit. And this one is if they have some health problems, the app and the e-app will walk you through which one they'll qualify for based on their medical answers. So this is their second tier, the graded benefit. You see in the first year, they get 30% of the death benefit if they pass away, second year, 70%, and third year, 100% of the death benefit. And you can see here, they only have the graded and returner premium for the older ages on here. And you can see the maximum amount is $20,000 on this if they're graded, and also $20,000 if they're in the third level, which is the returner premium plus 10%. So again, they have the immediate 100% from day 1 graded benefit where they get a percentage of the death benefit, which is a lot more than if they qualify for the returner premium plan, which is just the ROP plus 10% for the first 3 years. So as I said before, when you're going down the application, it's going to show you which plan they should qualify in. Of course, when you go through everything and they run the MIB and prescription check, if anything pops up, it could be different. But for the most part, you'll be able to tell just from going through the answers. Okay. Now they have two no-cost riders that they include on their final expense plan. One is the terminal illness accelerated benefit rider, and this is a great one because they can receive up to 100% of the death benefit if they have a life expectancy of 12 months or less. And in some states, it's even 24 months or less, which is even more generous. Their next benefit is the accelerated benefits rider for confined care. So with this one, if the insured is confined to a nursing home at least 30 days after the policy is written, they can receive a monthly payment of 5% of the face amount up to $5,000. So that's a nice little benefit on there too. And it's just, they have to have had the policy for 30 days before they go into a confined nursing home. But there's no 90 days or anything like that that they have to be in there before they can qualify for these benefits, which is nice. And then they have paid riders, and these are, of course, riders you can put onto the policy. We don't do it very often just because you're trying to keep the cost down for final expense plans, but they're available. They have accidental death benefit, grandchild rider. They have a nursing home waiver of premium and also children's insurance. So you can, if the client is not hemming or hawing about money and this seems like something they'd be interested in, then by all means add it. But in a lot of cases, it's just, you're trying to keep the prices low. And so we don't add on a lot of these riders usually. And again, they have here's two more riders. They have level term insurance rider, which is different for a final expense plan. And this is actually a 20-year term insurance plan on the spouse. They can get from $5,000 to $35,000, not to exceed the face amount of the primary insured on the base policy. But it's a nice little benefit that they have on there too, that you can add on. And then they have the waiver premium rider, but that's only for ages 0 to 49. For the final expense plan, from 50 on up, they don't offer that. And, a lot of people that have the final expense policies aren't working anymore, so it's not a big deal. This is an example of a rate guide that they have. You can do the rates a couple of ways. You'll see here's the age up in the upper left. They have the rate per thousand, and then they have these set dollar amounts up here on top for the death benefit. So if you just want to use some of these round numbers, let's say you want to do 10,000 and you look down here and see what the monthly premium would be based on their age. So a 70-year-old, this is male, non-tobacco, the immediate death benefit plan. 70-year-old for 10,000 would be $78.79 a month. They make it very easy to look this up. But if for some reason the client wants a number that's not up here on the top, let's say they have, credit card debt and it's a funky number and it's say, $7,500 instead of 7,000 or 8,000, you can just do these rate per thousands and use this to figure it out. And if I go back here, you'll see you'll add a policy fee of $30. And these are the modal factors, 0.088 to get it to be monthly. And it's all on that guide with these rates. This is it's a pretty big document because not only is it male non-tobacco immediate death benefit, they have to do male tobacco, female non-tobacco, female tobacco, immediate graded return of premium and all that. So it's you can see down here, it's 13 pages of rates on here. But like I said, they make it very simple for you. And the underwriting on this, it's final expense. So of course, there's no medical exams or blood work, yes or no application. They do run an MIB and a prescription drug check on the clients. They do have a liberal build chart. So for bigger and heavier people, this is a good company to go with. They don't do as many telephone interviews as they used to. They really pared it down a lot. So now you can see if the applicants are 71 to 85 and they're not found in the pharmacy database, they'll do a telephone interview. Or if the payer on the policy isn't the applicant, spouse, or child, then they'll do a telephone interview also. or, if something comes up in the MIB that they didn't disclose, they might do a telephone interview, but for the most part, they really cut those out, which is nice. And here's the approval list for American Amicable. In most states, we'll be using the American Amicable product. They also have these other companies for different states. Occasionally, we'll use Occidental Life if American Amicable isn't in the state. Let's say, for example, Iowa, they don't have the American Amicable product, but they have the Occidental Life product. Just about everything is the same. It's a different company name, and it's, slight differences. But if you're in a state where you have to use Occidental Life, let us know and we'll make sure you have everything for it. There's just a few. There's Iowa, Massachusetts, Michigan, you can see. Let me move this. Montana. What else do we have? New Hampshire, New Jersey, Puerto Rico, Rhode Island, Vermont. Most of you aren't in these states, I've noticed. And so it shouldn't be that big of a problem. Michigan, a few of you have, but I don't know that we are getting many calls on it at all in Michigan. And we can actually tell the company to not do Michigan if we want to. If you have enough other states and you just want to stick with the American Amicable to make it easy, that'll be probably the way to go on that. Okay. So what you're going to do is when you're doing the telesales on the live transfers, you're going to be doing their e-app. Now they call it a mobile application submission. And the reason they call it mobile is because originally when they set this up, it was for mobile phones and tablets. So the client could sign with their finger and you get a signature right then and there, because in the past they were doing face-to-face sales. Well, with everything that's gone on and the adjustments that the companies have made, they are using the same e-application, but they're allowing us to do a voice signature instead of face-to-face signing of the tablet. Hold on one. Okay, and so what we're going to do is I'm going to go over how to do the e-app with you. Before you get started, you're going to want to go to www.insuranceapplication.com, select the option for mobile application, and you're going to, the first time you use it, you're going to need to register. So I would suggest that you do that when we're done here, or once your contract is up and approved, in case it isn't right now, then go ahead and log on and register. It's nice, they have a training manual right there on the site. We also have it on our website. And you see here, applicants sign the application directly on a tablet. They don't have to do that anymore. Now we are able to do the voice signature, and I'll show you how that works. Most of their product information and training guides still list the finger signature on the phone or the tablet, but they put this sheet out telling people it's okay to do a voice signature now. And you'll see here on the number 1 and number 2, these are just a little bit of the changes on there. So the majority of the application is like it was before. When you're using the mobile application, the only thing that changes is after the agent statement screen, you're going to be asked how you want to do the signature, and they have a couple of options, and you're going to choose voice signature. And from there, prompts will come up telling you what you need to do, and I'll go over that with you. So this is what their website looks like. And let's see here, hold on. You're going to click on insuranceapplication.com. This is their website. So right now we're on their site. And so I'm going to go over it with you live like we're doing it with a client. You're going to click mobile application. You will have already registered. So you'll have your login information and you'll log in. You're going to click new application. And I clicked it right now just to show you. You're going to go down here and you'll hit the senior choice. And you're going to click the state, and then it'll take you to the application where you'll get started. So what I'm going to do is, I had already pre-filled out some information on the e-app, and then I saved it just so I don't have to type it all in going over it with you. So if you started an application with a client and you didn't get to finish everything, maybe they didn't have their bank account ready, something like that, you can save it and go back to it, and which is what I'm going to do here. So I click on it. I can either submit it, edit it, view it, manage the signatures, or delete it. And so I'm going to edit it right now. But this is what it looks like when you're starting a new e-application also. Just the information isn't filled out. So I put some information in here. Date of birth, I set it up to be age 65, male, non-tobacco. I'm putting in here immediate death benefit. And if you check down here, if they don't qualify for the immediate benefit, then they'll go ahead and keep running it and let you know if it would be the graded benefit or the return of premium plan. So I always keep a check, even if you think the client is in perfect health. You never know when you're going through the medical questions, what might pop up. So just keep it checked so you'll have the other options, and it's not going to say just no, you can't get a policy. I didn't choose any riders or benefits. For the amount of insurance, you can either solve it for how much it would cost with a specific face amount, or you can put in the premium. So let's see, if they don't know how much death benefit they want or need, but they know how much their premium is going to be. And of course, it's not working that way now. So on this, let's go ahead and just put in, let's say 12,000. Actually, let's do it the other way, since we started that way. We'll do premium of $100. They want to pay monthly. The face amount won't pop up right now. It'll pop up when you get down here and you press the quote button. And automatic premium loan elected, they have these pre-filled. I just keep it where they're at. No, mail the policy to the insured, so you don't have to deliver it. If you need to save age, you can click it there. Check here for date on approval. So I'm going to go ahead and click quote. And you'll see for $100, then they can get $17,561 of coverage. So it's kind of nice because, as I said before, you can, if the client knows what they can afford, put that dollar amount in and it'll figure it out for you. Or if they don't know what they can afford, then put in maybe 15,000 on the sales scripts on our website. There's a thing on there going over the average cost of cremation, average cost of a funeral. And so I just like to choose those numbers. The average cost of a funeral, small funeral in California is a little over $11,000. So I would put in 12 or maybe 15,000 in the face amount and have it solved for that. So once you've done the quote, the client says, okay, that sounds good to me, let's get going. Then you can continue the application. Now you can run quotes on here. Let me get back from here. You can run quotes on here if you don't want to use the rate sheet. And what I do is I have this pre-filled one out where it says the one that I clicked on for my name, and then I edited it. Then I can just change the date of birth to whatever the client's date of birth is and click quote, and it'll quote it for you right there. So what's on the rate sheets, let me go back to that real quick. On the rate sheets, you could estimate and say, okay, if they have $100 a month and he's 65 years old, let's see what that would get me, somewhere between 15 to 18,000. And that's, you know, that's just kind of an estimate. At least with this, when you quote it, you can put in a flat dollar amount and you don't have to guess at how much the insurance is going to be or anything. You can see the face amount here. If they say, well, that's a funky number, you can say, well, let's just round it off then, say 18,000. And let's see how much that would cost. And then you can press quote again. And it's 102.44. It's actually a way maybe you can get a couple extra dollars out of the client. If they can afford $100, chances are they can afford 102.44 just by rounding it up. Okay, so the client said, yes, we're going to continue with the application. Then it comes down to the medical questions on here. And actually, let me show you one more thing. I'm going to go back to the quote. At the very top here, they have underwriting questions. And if you're not sure how the client would qualify for, if they're going to be this immediate, graded, or returner premium, you can click on the underwriting questions and it'll take you to the underwriting page, and you can ask them these questions before you're taking the app. And you'll see at the bottom of each group of questions, it says, if any answer to questions 1 through 3 is answered yes, they're not eligible for any coverage. Go down to this next section. If the answer is 4 through 7, if any of them are yes, they should apply for the returner premium plan. Go down here. If they answered yes, they should apply for the graded death benefit plan. So it's kind of nice. If you're not sure which way to quote them, you can click these underwriting questions right at the very top of the application. And at any time you can click save and return to the applications. But it's a nice tool to have there, so you'll know exactly how to quote the client. So we've done that, and we're going to continue with the application. We go through the health questions, just for time's sake and everything. Answered no to everything. In good health. If you want to add any comments in here, something like, you know, let's say something popped up and you're on some medications, or the question has a doctor told you to do any procedure that you haven't done, and let's say you say no, and you need to explain why. Maybe you saw another doctor and they said, no, that's not necessary. Whatever the case is, you can put the comments in there. Okay, and then they have a coronavirus question at the end. And so you'll click continue. And so that's the basic health questions that they have on there. Next comes the personal information, payment type. Most people are going to pay with bank draft, and so all these required areas you'll need to fill out. To make it simple, I just did direct. And then it drops down to just the personal information. So you'll put in all their personal information, social security number, phone number, email, where they were born, height, weight, doctor information. Is the owner the proposed insured? Yes. Is the payer the proposed insured? Yes. It makes things simpler if the primary insured is the owner and the payer on these. And they can change it later at any time too. So to make the app easier to go through, if the client agrees that they'll be the owner and the payer on this, it makes it a lot easier. You'll fill in the beneficiary information. If you want to add a contingent beneficiary, you can do that. Do you have any existing coverage? No. California residents, they can designate a third party to receive billing in case the policy is lapsing and they can't get a hold of the insured. The insured could designate a third party to also receive notices to make sure the policy doesn't lapse. I just put will not designate on here. Otherwise, you do that, you need to put in the information on here, which isn't a big deal, but just for time's sake, I said will not designate. Okay, and then continue to the agent statement. And here's the agent report. You'll type in the name, city, any remarks. You know, if anything popped up during the asking questions, or if anything looked different, you can put them in the remarks there. They ask the replacement questions again to the agent. And at the bottom here, they have the agent number and the agent name. And this is pre-filled for you, so you don't have to have your number right there with you all the time. Percentage of case 100. If it's a split, you can do that and then input the information for the other agent. But you guys will just be doing the 100% on here. And then we continue to signatures. And this is where it has changed a little bit if you've done any EAPs with American Amicable in the past. So we're going to choose voice signature. And here is a button for the script that you're going to be using for the voice signature. I suggest don't click it first because you're going to want to go through this information here. You're going to need the app number, and you'll see the app number right here. When this pops up, it's going to pop up with the app number. So you'll have it right there. You don't have to go looking for it. And they have the phone numbers here that you'll be calling. You can either call this 800 number or the 254 number. If the lines are busy, wait a moment, try again. I've never heard anyone say that the lines have been busy when they've called. So you're just going to need this phone number and this app number before you click here for the voice signature script, because it's going to cover up a lot of your screen. So what you're going to do is you're going to have the applicant on the line. You're going to do a three-way call. So on your cell phone or on your landline, be sure to review how to do a three-way call so it goes smooth. So you'll call the number. A prompt will come up asking you for the app number, and you'll fill that in. You'll hit the pound sign. Go through the remaining prompts. You'll hear this call is now being recorded. And when you hear that, that's when you're going to start reading the script. So let's click that button. Here's the script. Actually, what you can do to make it even easier is you can just download it and have it, and then you can just pop it up on your screen when it's time to do it instead of having to click that every time. So it looks like a lot of reading, and it kind of is. But this, in order to do a voice signature, the disclosures have to be read. So with some companies, home office is doing the reading and you and the client are just sitting there listening. In some cases like this, the agent will be doing the reading. So be sure to read it exactly as it's on here. We don't want any reason for them to come back saying something was off or wrong. So you'll go through all that, and you'll see at the end of most of these, it's a question. So you'll be asking a question to the client and then wait for the client's response. Do you understand you've applied for a whole life final expense insurance policy through American Amicable Life Insurance Company of Texas, hereafter referred to as American Amicable? That's a question. So you'll sit and wait and they'll answer yes. So you'll go through all of these. They'll answer yes. When you're done reading from the script, you'll press the pound key once you've gone through the entire script. This will disconnect you from the recording service. Upon completion of the recording, select the click to verify recording has been received. This right here. You're going to click this because if for some reason it didn't record properly, you might have to do it again. I've never had an agent tell me that they've had to do it again, but just to be on the safe side, be sure to click to verify the recording, because if it's not there with the application, it can't be transmitted and completed. So really, it's very easy to do the voice signature on this. It's just, a decent amount of reading that you have to do this. But again, every company has to do it with voice signatures. So you would click and verify the recording has been received. You can now finalize the application by clicking the proceed with application, which will be at the end of it. And when you do that, that's going to be just about the end of the application. Everything's been done and completed. Let me see. When you get to the end of it, in most cases, they're going to be able to tell you if it's approved or not. Let's see. If anything was left blank, remember in some of those screens where the red REQ came up, meaning required, those would pop up. So if I quoted, let's say, for example, I clicked the nursing home waiver of premium. Let me do something different, actually. So the request pops up. Let's see if there's something we can Okay, I'll take the date of birth out and the age. You can see that these will pop up required. Before you can move on to another screen, that's going to pop up. Even if you do the age, they're going to need the date of birth on there too. So you'll quote, and again, every screen is going to tell you if you've completed it or not. Medical questions, everything's completed. Continue. Personal information, everything is completed. You'll continue. Agent's information, continue to signatures. You'll do the signatures, and then after the signatures, you're done. It's very simple, very easy. In most cases, it'll pop up saying that they're approved at either the immediate, graded, or modified on there, or I'm sorry, the return of premium. So yeah, those are the only questions. And again, I appreciate the time, and I look forward to working with you and talking to you soon.